Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Shri Shri Radha Vinobihari Mandir, Gopinath Bhavan, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupan Guru Varga ki jai, Patit Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandan Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vinobihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giridhar Maharaj ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Om. So we will begin with Mangalacharan, page 1 of this book, Sri Gaudiya Gita Guccha, with the natural added additions or subtractions, actually, of a couple of verses which, not by any adjustment of our own, we've maintained chanting the prayers the same way we did at the time of Srila Gurudev. So we're continuing to do it like that. So please forgive us if you have any difficulty navigating because of what appears to be our changes, which are not changes. Also, in the pranam mantra of our Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, we say, Nama Om Vishnupadaya Gaura Preshthaya Bhutale. I don't know what it says in the book because I haven't actually read the Mangalcharan in this book, but we always used to say Nama Om Vishnupadaya Acharya Singharupine until, I think it was the year 1999, our Srila Gurudev said, it's true that my Gurudev is so powerful like a lion, but much more than that, he is near and dear to Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So I like Gaura Preshtaya Bhutale. And so whenever he would chant the pranam mantra to his Gurudev, you could see in every lecture before class, when he would do his Mangalacharan, he would say, Nama Om Vishnupadaya Gaura Preshtaya Bhutale. So from that time onward, we've been saying Gaura Preshtaya Bhutale because it is pleasing to our Gurudev.
Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Namine Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sridaksham Adaryamadhuryamunashtvayuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tvam Shirasam Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromanincha Shri Krishna Padam Jugitaikahidni Chaitanya Lilamrita Sarasaram Narayanam Tvam पाश्चात्यदेशकारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय गौरप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्री श्रीमद् भक्तिप्रज्ञानो केशवलिप्तिनामिने अतिमर्त्यचरित्राय स्वश्रिदानं च पाणिने जीवदूते सगरताय श्रीनाम प्रेमदायिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्तो सरस्वती नामिने श्रीवर्षभानुनि देवी हैताय कृपाभये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दैने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्योज्ज्वल प्रेमध्य श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिदा श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये सिद्धान्तध्वन्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भारसम्बोधे पदं पूजायते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगमनायते गौराविर्भावभूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्टा सजनप्रिया वैष्णवः सर्वभौमश्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरद्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतां सुरतोपङ्गो मम मन्दमतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदम्बोजो राधावदनमोहन दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमदं श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्रीराधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेव प्रेष्ठानि संयमानुस्मरामि श्रीमन्द्रसरसारम्भे वंशिवततस्थितः कर्षन्वेणुस्मरर्गोपि गोपीनाथ श्रीकृष्णः वृन्दाये तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावग्निर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिकावितरणं विद्यावधूज Atmasnapanam param nijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Hare Nam Eva Kevalam Karunaskeva Naskeva Gatiranyata Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Jai Jai Shri Guru starts with Jai Jai Shri Guru, page 29.
Jai Jai Shri Guru starts with Jai Jai Shri Guru.
And if you don't have the song book, just in case, Jiva Pavana Prabhu does the wonderful seva of providing the bhajans and kirtans for everyone so we can all join together. So always look for the name Jiva Pavana Prabhu and you will find nectar there. Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Dandavat all Vaishnavas.
Dandavat Pranam. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupan Guruvarga ki jai, Sri Guru Parampara ki jai. Ebaro Kurana Koro. Page 44. I started with 44. It's been more extreme than the other one.
It's okay. Let's do it.
Okay. Pariharaye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama.
Page?
I don't know yet.
Oh, you look like you had.
Page 148. Hari Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama. And really this can be sung for Krishna, for Mahaprabhu, for Nityananda Prabhu. But most of the focus of this bhajan is particularly on the 6 Goswamis, Rupa Raghunath, crying out for their mercy. So 148.
Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Murta Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Murta Hari Guru Vaisnava Bhagavatamrita
Goranga bolite habe, pulaka sharir, hari hari bolite nayane bhaginir. I think it's page 86 in the songbook. If you don't have a songbook, then Jiva Pavana Prabhu is your go-to. He mercifully posts the bhajans in the comment section of the thread. So just go to the most recent or newest post of Jiva Pavana Prabhu and you will find the bhajan there with its meaning and sometimes beautiful commentaries from our acharyas. So thank you, Prabhu, for your kindness.
Yeah, for Hari Hari.
Thank you. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya
Because it might not be able to be seen afterwards. Just so you know, sometimes on this iPad, once the question goes up past the video, you can't scroll it back down, so it can become lost till the program is over. Okay?
Okay, Balabhadra Prabhu, I will have to meditate on that and maybe even do some research, so I won't be able to address it today. But I will certainly do my best to address your question. Thank you.
Because to reconcile between acharyas.
I know Gurudev's position on it.
Yes.
A very simple answer to your question is that we should understand our Guru Varga, our Guru Parampara, through the medium of our Gurudev's understanding. There was one girl, devotee lady, who told Gurudev, well, my understanding is such and such. And Gurudev said, you should not try to take your own understanding. Your own understanding will fail you. You should take the understanding of your Gurudev and your Guru Varga. Of course, if there's some discrepancy between that, then we should try to understand our Guru Varga through the medium of our Gurudev. But if in the future, then someone says something different, then that also creates some controversy. Then we need to somehow develop faith or understanding in the teachings of our Gurudev.
Jiva Bhavana posted something from Pure Bhakti. Manjari Bhav, you are all fortunate. And Balabhadra is saying Gurudev's position is all that matters.
But
reconcile.
Gurudev would like us to reconcile these things. But Gurudev himself was a great, amazing reconciler. He went very deep into every subject and brought out the essence. Even when, for example, we might find something within the works of even one acharya that seems to contradict itself. Different versions of Jiva Tattva, or different versions of maybe some ras, and there's some apparent discrepancy even within one acharya's own writings, like Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami has spoken extensively on Swakiya Bhav and also on Parakiya Bhav.
So the article he's asking the question on is the one that Jiva Bhavana posted, so maybe you should read it later.
Okay.
And then tomorrow have a good discussion.
I specifically remember Srila Gurudev trying to teach one devotee how to say Bhavola Sarati.
You know that the True needs to do? Then he says, and I am trying not to name and shame other preachers.
Thank you. Okay, here's one for you that might be easy to follow along. Bhajahure mana Srinandanandana Abhaya Charanarvindare, page 137.
Where's Devaki?
I don't know. You haven't sung Calling Out for a long time, so maybe
No,
she's...
no. 136. This is her.
Okay.
Her bhajan. Starts with Bhaja Hure. B-H-A-J-A-H-U. Bhaja Hure.
Shri Krishna Kanhaiya Lal ki jai. Radha bhajane jadi mati nahi bhela, page 110, 110. It might be
Slightly. Maybe not
not the Jiva
specifically
Srila,
that,
maybe the other one, the pure sentiments of the soul.
Anyway.
Okay.
Starts Radha Bhajane, R-A-D-H-A, B-H-A-J-A-N-E. Radha Bhajane Jadi.
Well, that's the same rag.
It's okay.
What's it?
Song name is Radha Bhajane Jadi, R-A-D-H-A B-H-A-J-A-N-E, Radha Bhajane Jadi.
Radha bhajane jadi mati nahi bhela. Radha bhajane jadi Krishna Radha Is that Madhu Mangal?
It's my Madhu.
Madhu. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Hare Krishna. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaye Tadbhaktaye Namo Namaha Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnanam Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayanitti Namine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminitti Namine Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim Yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, astottara Shri Srimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, astottara Shri Srimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And to all of our Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga. And also I offer my Dandavat Pranam to all Vaishnavas past, present and future, including all of you who are present with us today. My Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Haribol Shri Vrinda.
So before continuing, going beyond Vaikuntha, today, someone tagged me and they said, I think you would like this post. And this devotee who tagged me in the post, and Sudevi, was making a distinction between transcendental reality and the stool of this material world. Wet and dry stool, two sides of the same thing. All of the things of this material world. Some people claiming this demon is better than this demon, or this demon is better than that demon. All of it is, as our Srila Prabhupada would say, demon crazy. It's a bunch of people who want to enjoy in this world, voting for people who will support their enjoyment as separate, independent, little individual gods, separate from Krishna. And most people in this world, in the name of religion or in the name of God, are quite godless, really. Using God, the name of God, the scriptures of God, for all kinds of ulterior material purposes. It's quite surprising to me how tricky Maya is, not only in my own life, but even among those whom I have always endeavored to look up toward in my life from my childhood. How Maya can so easily act like a fish hook, catch them in the mouth and pull them. And I'm not saying that I'm not there. But for some who are in positions of authority, spiritual authority, to utilize all of their energy for promoting one lie over another lie and avoiding subjects which can actually bring about a revolution in the impious lives of millions and millions of persons. This in itself is violence to the jivas. It's violence to me because I've been looking up to you as an authority. And it's violence to my friends, whom I've been trying to encourage for the last 20 years at least, since I've come to my Gurudev, to endeavor to try to think of Krishna, always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. And if you are watching me, I want you to know that I consider it violent that you are trying to impress upon me and my friends, means those who are endeavoring to move forward on the path of bhakti, that I should meditate on, that I should think about, that I should absorb my mind and my consciousness in things other than Krishna, other than Guru, other than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, other than the nectar that Rupa Goswami has come to give, other than the nectar that all of our Guru Varga have come to give. If you're trying to absorb me in anything else, shame on you. And if you're trying to absorb other devotees' minds in anything else other than subjects related to bhakti, which you may not know anything about in reality, shame on you. And if I'm falling for it, then shame on me. So I'm requesting you, my seniors, who are trying to absorb my mind in everything else other than Krishna, to please be merciful to me and be merciful to my friends and not distract us, because it doesn't matter if there's COVID or not. This material world is known as Martya Loka, the place of death. Padam padam yad vipadam natesham. I cannot tell you how many times Srila Prabhupada has used these words. This is a place where there is danger at every step. Just before I came to sit down, a friend of mine who I grew up with in Gurukul, she wrote that in the last couple months, so many of her family members have somehow had serious accidents, and she was asking for advice on what to do for a family member who has a concussion. That's got nothing to do with COVID, as far as I know. And another family member who almost chopped their fingers off with a chainsaw. These things happen. It happens all the time. A devotee friend of ours just passed away just the other day. Haridas Prabhu. Another one. Another one. Another one. And the greatest mystery is we think it's not going to happen to us. One way or another, we're going to get it. And it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when.
Get what?
You know what I mean. That time will come for each and every one of us. And at the tail end of our lives, are we going to be going, oh my God, what was I doing with my time, with my life? Why was I wasting it? And not only that, but I was violent to my God brothers. I was violent to those who were looking up to me because I was not reminding them of Krishna. I was becoming absorbed in all of the politics of material life, trying to solve material problems with material solutions. And I myself was forgetting about Krishna and trying to distract everyone else from Krishna. Our goal, our hope, our aspiration, the purpose of these rare human forms. Srimad Bhagavatam tells us, Labdva sudurlabam idam bahu sambhavante manushyam artadam anityam apihadhira turnam yate tanapatet anumrityu yavan nirshaya shaya vishaya khalu sarvatasyat. That this human form of life is so rare, and it can award us or afford us the opportunity that we can have in any other species of life. We can eat, sleep, mate, and protect ourselves in a more enhanced way with a little bit more money, in a nicer way. We can enjoy more. We can enjoy more. But it's still the same four things. So what is the speciality of this human form of life? Only from the human form of life can we actually endeavor for perfection. only from the human form, not from any other form. And we don't know what will happen if we're not concentrating on Krishna. Well, we do know what will happen. Sometimes people think, I chanted so much in my life, so, I've got it made. Shastra tells us this is no guarantee. We can cheapen the process of bhakti. It's not so cheap. Whatever state of consciousness, whatever state of absorption one is in, when they leave this body, that state they will attain, for sure and for certain. And it can take lifetimes to come back, to get back to the point where we might be, or where we might have been at one point on the spiritual path. So only from the human form can one endeavor for perfection. And so Srimad Bhagavatam says, until that time when this body drops off like some old cloth or skin of a snake or whatever, until that time, one should utilize every moment in the endeavor for perfection, what this human form of life affords us. Otherwise, as Prahlad Maharaj says, our destination will be unknown. We have such an amazing opportunity. Krishna has come to us in the form of his holy names. Krishna has come to us in the form of Thakurji. Krishna has come to us in the form of his pure devotees who are telling Harikatha. He has come to us in the form of Harikatha. He has come to us in the form of his Dham. All Shastras, so much opportunity has been given to us. And if we misuse that opportunity, then who will we have to blame for it, except for ourselves? So Bhaktivedanta Thakur, so many of our Guru Varga, Narottam Das Thakur, what is he saying? Gora pahu nabaji amainu, prema ratana dana helaya harainu. I have knowingly forsaken that great treasure that of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his instructions, and instead have taken the poison of this material world. I have knowingly taken that. Our Gurudev would say, don't ask me to give you poison, I cannot. If you want to take poison, you can go yourself to the market and take it yourself, but don't ask me for that. I cannot give it to you. I will not give it to you. So for us who are trying, who are endeavoring, who want to progress, even slightly, we should try to remind each other about Krishna. We should try to remind each other about what's really valuable. We are eternal servants of Krishna, and so much opportunity has come to us to awaken that. We should help each other to awaken what is our real, true nature, that true reality, that thing which will be beneficial for us, that thing which at the end of our lives we will think, thank God, I used my time like that, instead of using my time in everything else which will not help us, which will not truly help us. We have seen how our Srila Gurudev constantly spoke about the sweet pastimes of Krishna to give us an opportunity to bathe our minds, our everything, in thinking about Krishna. He always told us to chant and remember the sweet pastimes of Krishna, not to remember all of this other stuff. Srila Prabhupada also told us the same. All of our Guru Varga has told us the same. And so I'm also praying that those who I have looked up to may also always remind me of Krishna. I don't know when my end is coming, and I don't know when anyone else's end is coming, but I know that my nature and my tendency, being absorbed in this material world for so many long years, is to very easily become distracted from Krishna. And I can do that on my own. I don't need help to do that. Especially among devotees. I can go to anywhere else and take that poison, but for devotees, I would hope that devotees would help me to remember my Gurudev, to help me remember the teachings of my Gurudev and my Guru Varga, to help me remember what I have received the nectar and the mercy I have received, the knowledge of Krishna, to remind me to chant my Harinam or to serve Harinam Prabhu, to take this human form of life seriously and to not become involved with all of the mundane politics of this material world. It's all just different aspects of the blazing forest fire of material existence. And I have been burning in it since time immemorial. And this time I know. I don't know about any other time. I can't remember. But in this life, I can remember that I have seen and received Mahaprasad from the hand of Srila Prabhupada. I have seen and heard from and received Mahaprasad from and received mercy from my Gurudev. I have seen and heard from Srila Govinda Maharaj. I have seen and heard from Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Maharaj. I have seen and heard from Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj. I have actually received the association of so many Vaishnavas, really high-class, beautiful, pure Vaishnavas in my life. And it would be such a shame to throw that away over something so infantile that would distract me and throw me back into, what does Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj say? Cast me into oblivion. Oblivion. It means, how do I get back from there? How do I get back? It's already difficult on my own. As aspiring Vaishnavas, we should always encourage one another to think about Krishna and to never forget Krishna. As that bhajan says, Srila Gurudev said, Bhaktivedanta, this is the essence of the teachings of Bhaktivedanta Thakur. Nadiya Godhrume Nityananda Mahajan, Patiyachi Namhatta Jivera Karan. Shradhavana Janahe, Shradhavana Janahe. O people of faith, Prabhura Agyay Bhai Magi E Bhiksha. I'm asking one request, Nityananda Prabhu is saying. Bhiksha, one donation. Prabhura Agyay. On the word, on the instruction of my Prabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is that? Bolo Krishna. Chant the names of Krishna. Bhajo Krishna. Serve Krishna. Koro Krishna Shiksha. Follow the instructions of Krishna. Aparadha Shunya Hoye. Loho Krishna Nam. Give up the offensive moods and take the names of Krishna. Krishna is your mother. Krishna is your father. Krishna is the wealth of your life. Take to the path of Krishna Bhakti. Krishnera Sangsara Koro. Enter into Krishna Sangsara. Means make Krishna our center. Make Vaishnava association our center. Vaishnava association doesn't mean to hang out with devotees in terms of whatever they're discussing. It means to hang out with devotees when they're speaking about Krishna. Otherwise, it's not Vaishnava association. It's any other kind of association. We should not mistake the two. Oh yeah, I'm going with the devotees to the club or to the movies. That's not devotee association. We're going to go to the bar together. Yeah, all my devotee friends. That's not devotee association. We should take association from devotees, meaning they will increase our devotion to Krishna. This is devotee association. And if it's not increasing that, if it's not somehow boosting our faith in Guru, Gauranga, and Krishna, or encouraging us in that direction, then we should really question whether it is favorable or not. Anukulyasya sankalpa, pratikulyasya varjanam. The first two symptoms of surrender or sharanagati. One should accept what is favorable for developing Krishna bhakti in our lives, and pratikulyasya varjanam. We don't have to be hateful toward anything, but pranam forever. As our Gurudev would say, pranam forever. What is unfavorable for my progress in bhakti, I should keep it at a distance. What was once favorable may become unfavorable also. So we should always be checking ourselves and checking our environment. although Srila Bhakti Rakshak Srila Maharaj says the environment is always favorable and friendly, it doesn't mean that we should always maintain the association of that environment which is considered always favorable. It might be that it's a lesson to tell us to back away from it, as Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said. Like Haridas Thakur showed. In his own life, Haridas Thakur, he turned that prostitute into a Vaisnava. He turned her into a Vaisnava. But immediately after that, he left that place. He wasn't maintaining that association. So we shouldn't say, oh, the environment is always favorable, so let me imbibe that mundane environment. That's not the meaning. I should see from that what lessons I can learn, and then I should utilize everything within my discrimination to accept what is favorable for serving Krishna and avoid what is unfavorable. So, Krishnera samsara koro. Enter into the samsara of Krishna, chari anachar, and give up all kinds of bad habits. So to enter into the family of Krishna means to associate with devotees or those who are encouraging devotion. That naturally will bring about an inclination to give up what is unfavorable. Jive doya, give mercy to other jivas. Krishna Nam, take shelter of Krishna Nam and give mercy to other jivas by sharing Krishna Nam. This is the essence of all forms of religion. Sarva Dharma Sar. Sarva Dharma Sar means the essence of all forms of religion. Real Dharma, Sanatan Dharma. So I just wanted to share this because there has been so much encouragement to me. I'm already having a difficult time, and when I find that devotees are encouraging me to absorb my mind in everything abhinivesh, which is not favorable to Krishna Bhakti, this is very disheartening, very saddening, and very destructive for my own faith. Because already I'm so weak, I need help. On my own, I don't have strength. So we pray to Vaishnavas, please give me your mercy. Help me to awaken my faith. Shraddha Bindu Diya. So I don't know. Wow. I just saw a bunch of... I haven't looked down until now. Please forgive me.
Has been posting very nice.
Okay. Sharing our difficulties and struggles in life to get support. This is not outside of Vaishnava Dharma. This is part of developing a relationship. Rupa Goswami says in the 4th verse of Sri Upadeshamrita, Tadati pratigrinati guhyamakyati prichati bhumte bhojayate chaiva shadvidam pritilakshanam. What is the purpose of me revealing my difficulties? We approach someone, generally it should be someone who should be able to help us. This is a difficulty for me. My heart is full of so much lust or anger, greed, madness, envy, pride, or anything else, and I need help. Can you help me? This is what I'm going through. And to reveal that, the point of that revelation is really how to get help to be able to focus my mind, my senses, my intelligence, my everything in service to Krishna. It's not to absorb their minds in that. If that is my intention, then that is actually not favorable for that personality. It might be that they might need to give some advice based on that, but it should always end in Krishna. The goal, the means, and the whole purpose of the conversation should be how to increase bhakti. So we should not think that revealing our anarthas is unfavorable. Revealing our anarthas may be favorable, but what is the goal or the mood of that? I have all of this which is blocking me. Oh Gurudev, oh Vaishnavas, oh my friends, can you help me in some way to unblock this problem so that I can evolve and progress on the path of bhakti? So we should see it like that. Thank you, Jiva Pavana Prabhu, for posting all of those quotes, which I have not had a chance to read. So, Balabhadra Prabhu, he wrote about it might not be directly related to Harikatha, but it might be emotional support. Now, as human beings, our Gurudev has said, he said, I have read somewhere that humans are social animals. And if they're not feeling love and affection in one society, then they will go to any other place where they will feel love and affection. So one of the main requirements for association is sajati ashai snigdha sangha. So who has a like-mindedness? Like-mindedness doesn't mean that their mind is like my mind. That wouldn't be very good. Like-mindedness means that their focus or their goal is the goal that I'm also aspiring toward. And then they also should be able to help me to progress. That means we should try to take association with those who are more advanced than ourselves. Otherwise, we can devolve instead of evolve. And then the next thing is snigdha sangha. Snigdha means with affection, which means they have care, they have affection. There's some kind of mood of affection and caring and love that I also want to see you progress. I want to see you come out of this situation. Srila Gurudev spoke quite often about this subject in terms of Shiksha Guru. He said sometimes Diksha Guru might be very strong and stringent and heavy, but the Shiksha Guru will ask you, how are you? How is your family? Oh, you have a crush on that girl. Oh, poor boy. And he'll pat you on the head and pat you on the shoulder. I know, but you know you should concentrate your attention on Krishna. So he might speak with you in such a way that your heart will open up a little bit more, and then he will be able to help to pull you from where you are forward toward Krishna.
I think one of the things he's saying also is, isn't it somewhat natural to be able to talk, especially devotees are our friends, so about the current situations or something that's going on, revealing your heart and hearing something. It might not be Krishna conscious, but it might just be some kind of support to get through what is happening, but not continuously thinking about it and meditating on it, but maybe that kind of dealing. It may not be necessarily about Krishna. It might just be human interaction and then Krishna.
These human forms of lives are very short. Kamala dala jala jivana talamala bhajahu hari padaniti re. These lives are like so fragile, like a drop of water on the waxy petal of a lotus. Any small breeze, and that drop of water can fall. So Govinda Das Kaviraj is saying that we should try to utilize our energy and our time to meditate on and to serve the lotus feet of Krishna. Bhajahu Haripada Nitire. All of these things may be there, and maybe a little bit of that interaction might be there. Something, so that we're aware. We don't have to be foolish in this world. We can be aware. But, like our Gurudev, he warned us once, be careful. Because when, we looked in Kushan Sarovar, there were like thousands of dead fish. And we're like, whoa, why are they dead? Maybe we shouldn't bathe there at the moment. Gurudev's like, be careful. He even said one time, he said they're pouring so many toxins into Jamuna, and there was a lot of foam and froth and dirt and everything else. And he warned us. He said, if you go, you might get sick and die. And somebody who has transcendental faith, who actually is able to see transcendentally, they might be able to handle that. But for us who are in material consciousness, we might have a very severe negative reaction from it. Even sometimes, I don't know if anyone has silver, but you can walk around in Vrindavan and the silver just turns gray, like really dark, blackish in one day even, depending on the pollution of the day. So there's so many things that we can take into consideration, but to absorb all of our minds and our time on these things. And we know how much time and energy we are absorbing ourselves in to do with anything other than Krishna. And how much energy we are also encouraging others to absorb their minds in anything other than Krishna. So we can check our own selves and know if we ourselves are guilty of this. How much of my energy am I using for Krishna? How much of my time, how much of my money, how much of my love and affection and everything else am I using in terms of progression on the path of bhakti? And how much am I using for everything else? We will know if we are cheating or not, usually. Right? I'm sitting there with my japa mala on, Hare Krishna, scrolling through Facebook. Oh, look at that video. Oh my God, wow. And then the next one, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, let me watch the game. Yeah, my favorite thing. Am I really absorbing myself, or am I just faking, pretending? And then I'm wondering why I'm not progressing at all on the path of bhakti. So yes, a little bit of the day. Srila Gurudev would look at the newspaper. Prabhupada would look at the newspaper. Srila Govinda Maharaj would look at the newspaper. And would get a little bit of understanding of what's going on in the world based on the current news and events. I can guarantee you that most of the Indian newspapers are full of lots of misinformation. We've experienced and seen it. When they did interviews of us personally, and then they posted whatever they wanted in the newspaper. And we were like, what? That's not what we said. That's not what we discussed. They just posted whatever they wanted. So how does one know what's real or not this way or that way? People can become completely obsessed, thinking, oh, I know this for a fact. Are you willing to risk my life with your knowledge? Are you willing to risk the life of your Gurudev with that knowledge? How much of a fact do we know? We don't really know. We think we know. Is it our ego, one way or the other, that is saying, I'm right, I'm right. I don't really know anything. I just accept what my Gurudev and my Guru Varga have told. And I'm passing on that information because I don't have the capacity to navigate all of the falsities of this material world and know what is real and what's not, who's telling the truth and who's not, all of these things. It's all a bunch of nonsense garbage, and it's becoming more and more apparent that it's all a bunch of nonsense garbage, and it's just Maya's way of distracting us. So a little bit, I've heard this, what do you think? Okay, all right, Hare Krishna. Let's do kirtan. Let's talk about Krishna. Let's talk about the mercy of Guru. Let's share with each other. Let's remind each other of the mercy which has come into our lives. And let's share that with others. Because all of this other stuff, yeah, a little bit, whatever, okay, I've heard this one, this, something like that, whatever. It's not really going to help us at the time of death. It might actually kill us, or it could make us not remember Krishna at the time of death, but it won't help us. So there's something called prioritizing. I'm learning this from my wife. I know we've been married for 26 years, but she's teaching me now. It's time to learn how to prioritize. And so what is that? When the milk comes up, it's been sitting in the heat. And if you don't boil it immediately, it's going to curdle and it's going to be strange. So whatever you're doing, put that down and take care of the milk. If I'm busy doing something, okay, I've got a priority. So we also have priorities, spiritual priorities. And our spiritual priorities are essential. That, yes, all of this stuff is there. All of this material stuff is there, and it is a reality. I read an amazing quote from Srila Bhaktivedanta Srila Maharaj today. Who posted it? J.S. Das. Just so you know, JS means Jnana Shakti. It's Jnana Shakti Prabhu. So JS Das. If you find it, Jiva Pavana Prabhu, you can post it here, or anyone else. Like Mother Yashoda, save the milk. That's how to do it, Balabhadra. Thank you. Now I'm never going to look at it the same. The milk is going to spoil. It's going to give up its life if it's not being utilized in the service of Krishna. Put everything down and run to save the milk. Thank you, Balabhadra, for giving me that meditation. That's how we should help each other, to always remind each other of Krishna. Thank you for that. So, devotees were concerned about nuclear war and the madness that's going on with all the world governments and all the demons and this and that, and they mentioned it to Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj. And he mentioned it, he said something very interesting back. He said that there have always been wars. He said it's just a point in the timeline, and that timeline is on a plane, and it is something which happens again and again. Every living entity, every body, every embodied living entity will have to change their bodies again and again and again. It has always happened, and it will continue to happen as long as one is bound in the material condition. Millions of suns and earths and stars and planets, everything will be destroyed, and then it will come back again. All races, everything, species and everything will be erased, and then again it will manifest. All of these things are always happening again and again and again. But right now we have an opportunity to get out of that cycle of creation and destruction, repetition of birth and death. He said it has always happened. But now we have to think about what is the essence, the essential thing that we must consider. Yad gatpamam nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Krishna says, if you come to me, then you never have to return to this world of birth and death. It doesn't just mean us being born and dying. It means everything being born and dying. This thing which is actually really foreign to the nature of the soul, which is Sanatan, or eternal. So he was explaining it there we are. Balabhadra caught it very fast. I'm just going to read it to you because it's so amazing. Many people are worried about nuclear war. They think it may come very soon. So just change nuclear war to all of the world governments and so many people from the higher echelons of society with all of the money are in a big conspiracy to completely take over your minds and your lives and inject microchips into your brain, and they're giving you all sorts of false information because they want to control you and make you mindless robots. So that's, instead of nuclear war, we've changed it to that. That is a point on a line on a plane in a solid. So many times wars are coming and going. So many times the sun, the earth, and the solar systems disappear and again spring up. We are in the midst of such thought in eternity. This nuclear war is a tiny point. What of that? Individuals are dying at every moment. The earth will die. The whole human section will disappear. Let it be. We must try to live in eternity. Not any particular span of time or space. We must prepare ourselves for our eternal benefit, not for any temporary remedy. The sun, the moon, and all the planets appear and vanish. They die, and then again they are created. Within such an eternity, we have to live. Religion covers that aspect of our existence. We are told to view things from this standpoint. Not only this body, but the human race, the animals, the trees, the entire earth, and even the sun will all vanish and again spring up. Creation, dissolution, creation, dissolution. It will continue forever in the domain of misconception. At the same time, there is another world which is eternal. Krishna tells this to Arjuna as well. There is another transcendental realm beyond this realm. We are requested to enter there, to make our home in that plane, which neither enters into the jaws of death nor suffers any change. How powerful is that? How beautiful and how brilliant. So simple, so thoughtful, so eloquent, and so true. So true. So here we have Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj distinguishing reality from illusion for the benefit and the welfare of all. That is proper association. What will bring us to always consider what is essential and what is important, and not to be absorbed in all of the temporary, finite, mundane problems and mundane solutions of this world, which will only continue binding us in samsara. So I did read that quote earlier, and I think that may be one of the reasons I felt this upsurge of, I'm going to use the word inspiration, to speak on this particular topic. And I know it comes up quite often, but I actually saw one devotee posted one thing based on some current news sources, and another very senior devotee basically started cussing them out for being, what do you call them, libtards or something? I don't know what that is, but some liberal retard or something like that. And it was quite heavy to see the depth of absorption in the mundane sphere, even from those who are in the position of responsibility as preachers of the truth. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, he says in his Upadesh Avali, and I've told it before, but I will tell it again because I need to remind myself again and again, because the nature of this material mind and intelligence is to become distracted again and again. To help draw conditioned souls away from their perverted attachment to the material energy is the greatest compassion. If even one soul is rescued from Mahamaya's fortress, that compassionate act is infinitely more benevolent than the construction of unlimited hospitals. This was a recurring point. If you see from all of the disciples of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, they have again and again reiterated these moods coming from their Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. So he was definitely differentiating the two. I remember our Gurudev telling that there was a massive flood that took place in Bangladesh, where thousands and thousands of people died and were starving. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada took that opportunity to send his disciples to that place to preach. And some people were complaining, what are you doing? You should be helping us. You should be giving us food. And the preaching that they were instructed to do was to tell everyone that all of this suffering is the result of your karma.
They were blaming God.
Because people were blaming God for, oh, why God did you do this, and you sent me this problem and that problem and this problem and that problem. These days people haven't even really had problems yet. They're just tired of having their idle mind being the devil's workshop. So, I mean, not really. Not like, being herded into, corralled into places and shot or anything like that. We're not experiencing, not everyone, some people are, but not everyone is experiencing that kind of thing. They're just afraid that it might happen. So, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada has established that the greatest compassion is to help rescue the jivas from this world. By telling them about Krishna. And then he says, if I were to desist from lecturing about the absolute truth, due to being fearful that some listeners may be displeased. I mean, people are actually upset that Kishori Mohan is telling what Gurudev says and what our Shastras and Acharyas have said. No, you don't understand. One time, there was some devotees were actually, you need to understand, and they were really heavy on us. What they're doing with the chemtrails. You need, and we were like, okay, we understand. We accept it. Let's say we accept it theoretically. Now what do you want us to do about it? Do you want us to hold up signs and go marching against chemtrails? Or can we hold up Mahamantra signs and go and chant Hare Krishna? What do you want us to do about it? And they actually said, it feels like you are throwing sand all over my inspiration. Yeah, okay, so we got it, we understand. Now what? What do you want me to do about it? Do you want me to stop chanting Hare Krishna? Do you want me to stop remembering Krishna? And do you want me to start screaming about all of the mundane things of this world? So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said, if I were to desist from lecturing about the absolute truth due to being fearful that some listeners may be displeased, I would be deviating from the path of Vedic truth and accepting the path of untruth. Vedic truth means Krishna, Satyam Param, the supreme absolute truth. This is the first verse of Bhagavatam. I'm meditating on the supreme absolute truth, Satyam Param Dhimahi. I would be deviating from the path of Vedic truth and accepting the path of untruth. I would be one who is inimical to the Vedas, an atheist, and would no longer possess faith in Bhagavan, the very embodiment of truth. By abandoning the path of truth to absorb myself and others' minds in the path of temporary truths, mundane things of this world, I myself will become affected due to my aparad against the jivas. Jiva hingsa, violence to the jivas. This will affect me, and I will also lose my sukriti. By trying actively engaging people's minds in thinking about topics other than what is favorable for their Atma, for Krishna, other than the absolute truth, by bathing people's attention in untruth. Yes, all of it is untruth if it is not related to Krishna. And we could say, well, it's distantly related. Yes, in one sense, but in this case, I'm talking specifically. What Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas, Guru, Sadhu and Shastra give us, this we should meditate on. Ultimately, what are we going to be able to do against the people who want to make war? The only thing we can do, the real, our Gurudev calls it anti-pollution. The real anti-pollution to all kinds of pollution of this world is Harinam, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And if we can't do it outside, we can do it inside. We can go to our rooftops or we can go to our doorsteps and chant the holy names of the Lord. Open our windows and chant the holy names of the Lord. Or get on Facebook and chant the holy names of the Lord. No one is stopping us from doing that at this point in time. Not yet. They're blocking all other kinds of information, but I have not heard that they're blocking people from chanting Hare Krishna. So lucky us, we can still call out the holy names of the Lord and share subjects of Krishna Bhakti. So we should always try to represent the truth, even at the expense of being disliked by others. Try to do it palatably. So now I'm going to make an apology. If I pinched anyone's heart, please forgive me. I was just feeling this upsurge of inspiration based on a few of the current events today, and I like to apply things practically. So now, I would like to continue going beyond Vaikuntha. I know that it's getting late, but we still have a few minutes. So before entering into this transcendental treasure, we will call out for the mercy of our Gurudev, the commentator, and Srila Sanatan Goswamipada, the original manifester of Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita, in the words of Raghunath Das Goswami, Vairaga Juga Bhaktira Samprayatnair Apayanan Maham Anubhipshamandam Kripambudirya Paradukuduki Sanatana Swam Prabhum Ashrayami. Begging in the dust of their lotus feet that may even a particle of their moods, which are present within these pages, manifest within our hearts. So Srila Gurudev was speaking about who can extract the essence of all essences from all of the scriptures. Because there's so much information about so many things, which can also be distracting for us, which can actually take us away from ekantik or one-pointed devotion to our Ishtadev. Means that personality who is our particular worshipful Lord. So who can extract the essence? Only those persons who are transcendental and pure. And in this case, especially for Rupa Anuga Bhakti, our Gurudev has explained that our 6 Goswamis, what they have extracted from the scriptures, we can trust 100%. If we just go to the scriptures on our own, we can very easily be deviated. Even in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that the Vedas are very vast, and they have so many different subjects in them, and so much that it can be like coral reefs or sharks or alligators and so many things. Because there's Vedas about dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. That was the problem that Vedavyas himself had. After compiling the Vedas, he was feeling dissatisfied in his heart. And his Gurudev, Sri Narad Muni, appeared in front of him and told him, you're feeling dissatisfied in your heart because you have given to this world so much information about religiosity, dharma, artha, sense gratification, economic development, kama, sense gratification, and moksha, liberation. But what kind of liberation? Mostly freedom from suffering, but not really attainment of the highest potential. And because of this, you have given about mundane dharma, rituals and things like that, but which keep one bound in this world also. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Because you have failed to give the highest possible benefit, you yourself are feeling dissatisfied. So then Narad Muni told him, you should enter into a trance known as samadhi. Samadhi means to have equal consciousness with the absolute truth. Dhi means to meditate, and sama means equal. So equal consciousness with the absolute truth. When we say that they have entered samadhi, it means that literally they are absorbed in the pastimes of the Lord. This is really this kind of samadhi when we say that about our Vaishnavas, when apparently they depart from this world, but we say they have entered samadhi. That doesn't mean that they've gone underground. It means they've gone into their relationship with Krishna. So Narad Muni instructed Vyasadeva, you should enter into samadhi, and you should witness the pastimes of Krishna with his devotees, and compose a transcendental literature. So what did he do? He entered into that samadhi trance, witnessed the sweet pastimes of Krishna with his devotees, and from that he manifested what he witnessed. The ripened fruit of all Vedic literature, Nigamakalpataror Galitam Palam, known as Srimad Bhagavatam. The essence of all scripture. And within that Srimad Bhagavatam, he brings it to that very high, beautiful point of the greatest devotees and the most intelligent persons in all of existence, begging for just even one particle of the dust from the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika to come onto their heads. Within Srimad Bhagavatam, that is there. And that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amala. The topmost spotless evidence is Srimad Bhagavatam. So much emphasis has been given to that transcendental literature, and all of our acharyas, all of our Goswamis have commented and instructed us that we should take shelter of and bathe in the beautiful nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam. So from that is the essence of all Shastra. And from that, then we see all of these beautiful transcendental literatures manifesting from our Goswamis, having been given the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all Vaishnavas. So Gurudev now is talking about what is unrestricted praying. Praying, transcendental love. It's not mundane, it's not of this world. It is very high stage of divine love and affection for Krishna. Starting with Shraddha. Shraddha is the beginning, Paramartik Shraddha. Transcendental faith begins, and that faith begins the awakening of the desire to serve Krishna with full conviction that just by serving Krishna, automatically all other obligations are taken care of. The Shraddha, Nishtha, firm conviction, unbreakable firm conviction. And one of the symptoms of Nishtha is very firm conviction in the words of Shastra. This is also Shraddha, but then it's more fixed with Nishtha. And firm conviction in the process of bhakti. Like Prahlad Maharaj. No matter what, he could not give up the chanting of the holy names. Or like Haridas Thakur. What did Haridas Thakur say? Even if you cut my body into thousands of pieces, still I can never give up the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Very high state, Nishtha, conviction. No matter what, I will not break. Then from there, Ruchi comes, taste. What is taste? Oh, some rasa is coming. I'm actually experiencing something that is sweet, and therefore my taste is going there. When that higher taste starts to manifest, that other tastes of this world start to disappear, start to become insignificant. Then ashakti, deep attachment. Then bhav, transcendental loving mood. And from there, rati, bhav rati. From there to prem. Transcendental love and affection. And once one attains to praying, it is said that they can no longer maintain their material body. The body cannot handle that transcendental awakening. The body cannot handle it. And they will continue from there. Different levels and stages of transcendental love and affection will continue. So it's nothing ordinary. It's not of this material world. It doesn't have an end. If Nishtha doesn't break, then what to speak of praying? In this material world, love breaks very easily, but praying does not break. So Gurudev was speaking about many obstacles may come, yet praying will surely cross over them and heighten one's desire to meet with Krishna. And meeting doesn't just meet. It comes from the desire to serve and please him. This is the meaning of meet. It's not that I just want to see him and enjoy seeing him, or to meet with him and enjoy meeting with him. The mood of all of those persons with praying is how to please him, how to love him, how to serve him, how to increase his transcendental pleasure. Right? Krishnendriya priti icha, dhare premanam, the desire to please the transcendental senses of Krishna. This is known as prem. So many people, and in this case Gurudev is speaking of the gopis, were given obstacles. Their desire for meeting Krishna increased, and they finally met him. When there is a mood of awe and reverence, Aishwarya Bhav, there is no place for such praying. I spoke about that yesterday. If Bhagavan manifests his nature as the Supreme, he will not freely converse with any ladies, and he will not approach any young unmarried girl. So Bhagavan is not manifesting, Krishna in Vrindavan is not manifesting his universal form to the gopis. Not like that. Gurudev is saying here. If you were to do that, then there would be Aishwarya Bhav. There would not be the ability for rasa to manifest. The sweetness of the interaction of love and affection and relationship. We've seen, I told about Arjuna yesterday, but Mother Yashoda, what to speak of Mother Yashoda or the cowherd boys, the gopis, are completely absorbed in loving affection and service to Krishna. Would Ramachandra even look upon the face of an unmarried girl? He is Maryada Purushottam, the Supreme Personality of observing and also propagating the proper following of rules and regulations according to Scripture. Would he even look upon the face of an unmarried girl? I know in Sita Swayamvar it shows that Ram entered the palace gardens of Janak Maharaj, and there he saw this young Sita, and then they kind of fell in love, and then a marriage was arranged. But we should understand according to Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra and Tattva. One time we were in, where was that? Sicily? Sicily. And we were doing a program, and one lady, she said, "Why is Radhika so much older than Krishna?" And we were like, "What? Yeah, she's so much older than Krishna. Why?" And we're like, "Where did you get that?" She said, "I saw it in this movie, Gopal Krishna or something." And we're like, "That's a movie. It's not reality." So she's making Radha and Krishna based on some characters she's seeing in a film, which are, of course, not anything like the real Radha and Krishna, but these ideas can manifest for someone who doesn't have proper guidance, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So we should understand according to Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, not according to movies, even if they're done very beautifully. Would Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu even look upon the face of an unmarried girl after he accepted sannyas? Never, never, and never. We know that when he was young, as Nimai Pandit, he would joke with them. And he would say, "Oh, you should marry me, or you should give all of these preparations to me," everything that they were bringing to offer to Lord Shiva as they were praying for husbands. And he would say, "Oh, you should offer all that to me. I am the supreme husband." And he would tease them. And then when they would say, "We don't want to have anything to do with you," then he would say, "I curse you that you will marry someone who's really ugly with no teeth," or something like that. So he would have some kind of friendly, affectionate dealings with them. But after receiving sannyas, how solid was he? Even when he heard Gita Govinda being sung, as a sannyasi, he was completely absorbed. How beautiful was this Gita Govinda? He was so absorbed in the moods of Srimati Radhika's love and affection for Krishna that he began running toward the source of that Gita Govinda, and he wanted to embrace whoever it was singing it. He was completely out of sense. But his servant Govinda ran after him, tackled him, and when he woke up from his trance-like state, he was like, "What happened?" And the Govinda said, "You were running to embrace that person who was singing Gita Govinda." And he said, he thanked him profusely. "Thank you so much. If I would have done so, my life would have been ruined. I would have had to give up my own life." How strong of a sannyasi was he? Let me just finish this small little paragraph here. What to speak of noting what ornaments, of not noting what ornaments they would be wearing around their necks or on their wrists. Mahaprabhu would not even look at the nails of their toes. So Mahaprabhu is showing the proper example. Previously, it used to be like that. Any sannyasi would not glance upon any lady. Mahaprabhu told in Chaitanya Charitamrita that even seeing the wooden form, a wooden doll of a lady for any sannyasi, this will completely ruin his focus, his concentration. It would destroy his inclination on bhakti, on the path of bhakti. But these days, it's not honored or respected like that. How many millions of lifetimes of impressions have we had that even one little thing like that can fully drag the mind of any person into illusion? So Mahaprabhu showed by his own practice how he would avert his eyes. Believe it or not, even at the time of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, it is said that they used to have a curtain. And once one disciple of his, who was young enough to be his granddaughter, wanted to meet with him about something very important privately, and he would not do so. He said, whatever you need to say, you can say in front of everyone, but he would not meet with her privately. Yes?
So then what about our Srila Prabhupada and our Gurudev? How they had relationships with their disciple ladies, and they, not relationships like, you know, speaking to us, being affectionate toward us. Yeah, and like Srila Prabhupada put on Shamarani Didi Sari, as I told the other day. So how do you reconcile that as opposed to what you're speaking now?
Leave it to Sudevi to bring up.
Maybe you can answer it tomorrow.
She's like, the time, it's running out. Okay, now reconcile this. Okay, so.
Their character is beyond reproach.
Still, at such a time as this, it is imperative, especially in this case, that we understand, and Srila Prabhupada mentioned it himself, and we talked about it the other day, that sometimes it is necessary in this case or in these cases that some adjustment needs to be made according to time, place, and circumstance. But that doesn't mean that unqualified persons should imitate. Where our Gurudev has stated emphatically, you can trust me, I won't fall down. I looked around the room and I thought, can anyone else in this room of 1,000 people say the same thing, honestly? Can we really say that? Do we know that? Or where Srila Prabhupada has said that even if there is a room full of naked ladies, I won't be in the slight bit disturbed. Can any man of this world who is attracted to women say such a thing? Really, honestly? And can they really mean it honestly? So what Srila Prabhupada had to do, he had to perform weddings, he had to accept certain situations in order to share the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna, and what our Gurudev also had to do, and so many other acharyas.
Saying, even if I have to go to hell.
If I have to become proud, if I have to become a beast, even if I have to go to hell to carry out the order of my Guru who is sent by Krishna, then let me sign a contract to do so, even for all eternity, because I know that by a single particle of dust from the lotus feet of my Gurudev, millions of people of this world can be delivered.
So that's the answer. It's not for their pleasure. It's not.
And this is something that one should really assess. If, when I see an object of sense gratification, my heart jumps, even slightly, some desire comes that I want to enjoy that, then I should understand that I'm not on that transcendental level. Those personalities who are on that transcendental level may be able to do so, may be able to give that kind of mercy and that kind of attention. But if we pretend to be there, you know, when they say the king is dead, long live the king, it's not like that in spiritual life. Maybe hereditary family life, or maybe, you know, coming through the birth process. Okay, my father was such and such, so now I am such and such. But it doesn't work like that on the path of bhakti. That my father was Sri Guru, the heaviest substance in this world. So now that he has physically left my vision, does that make me the heaviest substance in this world?
Well, if your father's a doctor, even materially, you're not a doctor.
That's the example given by our Guru Varga, Srila Prabhupada. Just because your father might be a doctor doesn't mean you're a doctor. You also must attain the proper qualification to perform surgery.
So basically it's time, place, and circumstance, and anya vilasita shunyam.
This subject can be gone into very, very deeply over time. I was just speaking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his Maryada. As a sannyasi, how strict he was as a sannyasi. What our Guru Varga have had to do, according to time, place, and circumstance, that's something of a different story. But we should not pretend that we're on their level. If we pretend, then we will be destroyed. Just like Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva could drink the poison from the churning of the ocean of milk. Who else could tolerate that? That poison would have destroyed the entire world. But he could take it, and he could keep it in his throat. Therefore, he became known as the blue-throated one, Nila Kantha, because he kept that poison here. Why didn't he let it go deep? Why didn't he let it go inside? He was thinking, Krishna's in my heart. I don't want that poison to go any further, so he kept it here. And he can do such a thing, but not just anyone can do it. So let me just finish this paragraph, and we will continue maybe with that subject another time. So he would not even look at the nails of their toes. Although they are Bhagavan, still they possess such shyness and dharmagya. Dharmagya means the nature of being dharmic, following proper dharma, religious activities, that constant awareness of upholding their dharma. So I didn't want to just end on that point right there because it's a heavy subject.
No, but it wasn't like chastising. It was just
still.
It's good. You're going to end on Hare Krishna and Govinda Damodar.
Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaja said all the time, Madhurena Samarpayet. So it means everything should end in sweetness. So once again, I'm remembering the beautiful tiffin of milk that is left outside our door every day, with Bhajanti Mala Didi saying, Dood aa gaya, the dude has come. The dude means milk in Hindi, by the way. So we called our milkman the dude. So the milk has come, and we say thank you, and she drops it off outside, and then we go and collect that. Mother Yashoda also went to save the milk. If we did not utilize that milk immediately, what normally happens is we actually throw it away.
It turns sour.
Because it turns bad, it turns sour, it turns to this really stringy kind of clabbered thing. It turns to paneer on its own, but it's not really paneer, it's something else.
Because it's so hot.
Because it's so hot, it goes off very quickly. So why did Mother Yashoda run to save the milk? Because Krishna may be there, but service to the devotee, tadiya vastu, that devotee, everything is conscious, that milk, it feels that without being able to serve Krishna, my existence is useless. Korunana hoile kandiya prananara kibo ad. Let me enter into the fire if I cannot be utilized in the service of Krishna. Mother Yashoda's capacity to serve Krishna is unlimited, and Krishna's capacity to accept her service in the form of her milk is also unlimited. What hope do I have? If I cannot serve Krishna, then let me finish my life. I have no reason to exist. And so with that, Mother Yashoda sees this milk is desperate to serve Krishna. And so Krishna himself, and Lord Shiva says actually, Aradhananam sarvesham Vishnur aradhanam param tasmat parataram devi tadiyanam samarchanam. Of all kinds of worship of Vishnu or Krishna is the topmost. Vishnu aradhanam param, the supreme. Then he says tasmat, but, or however, parataram devi, what is even more than param is parataram. What is even higher than that, O Devi? Tadiyanam samarchanam. To serve or worship who is near and dear. That means who wants to love and serve Krishna. That personality. This is even more than worshipping Vishnu himself. And Krishna confirms that. Who says they are my devotee directly? They're not really my devotee. This is some kind of egotistical pride, our Guru Varga has said. But Krishna says, who is the devotee of my devotee? They're really my devotee. So when Mother Yashoda was personally serving Krishna, but then she saw that this devotee is absolutely desperate and ready to give up their own life if they cannot serve Krishna, then immediately she put Krishna down and ran to save that milk, to engage that milk in serving Krishna in so many wonderful ways. As rabri, as dahi, as rasamalai, as burfi and pera and kheer and all sorts of wonderful preparations that she herself could not do for Krishna, but through that milk she was able to utilize in the service of Krishna. So thank you very much, Balabhadra, for giving me that meditation. I will never see that milk tiffin the same again. So, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupananda Guru Varga ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. And Vaishnavas, please forgive me if I have pinched you in any way. That is not my intention. My intention is only to encourage you, to encourage me to remember Krishna. Because of my own weakness, I need help. And also that we can encourage each other to remember the mercy of Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas. Make sure you stay for darshan. As you know, I don't understand it, but they just seem to be getting, like they have a transcendental beauty competition going on. And like, we'll go to the kitchen, and then we'll go to the bedroom, and then we'll come back and look. I'm like, oh my God, they're even more beautiful. How are they doing that every day? So make sure you stay for their next revealing of their transcendental beauty competition. Now it's late. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. So thank you very much for being with us today and giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful and very pertinent instructions and teachings of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga. Once again, I apologize if I pinched any of you, and I pray that you will continue to bless us with your presence and your encouragement, and also to continue to engage me in remembering Krishna and my Gurudev and my Guru Varga. And also, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I know Sudevi is also, that you are engaging us in our Guru Seva, what Gurudev has ordered us to do. He said, even after I'm no longer on this sphere. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a lifetime order. And
Lifetimes.
So at least one lifetime's order. So thank you so much for giving us that opportunity to follow his instruction every single day during this time, which for me is the best time in my entire life. Whatever's going on, I'm able to be engaged in the service of my Gurudev. So thank you very much. And we look forward to being with all of you again tomorrow. Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat
Hare
pranam,
Krishna.
dear Vaishnavas.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe,
Radha Vino
Radhe.
Bihari Ju ki
Jai.
jai. Sachinandan Gaur Hari
Ki
ki
jai.
jai.